The crystalline spires of New Geneva Station caught the light of distant stars, creating rainbow refractions across its diplomatic quarter. Captain Victoria Reed stood at the observation window, her reflection ghosting against the backdrop of space. Below her, Earth hung like a blue jewel, oblivious to the judgment about to be passed on its children. "They're ready for us, Admiral Hassan." Ibrahim's voice carried the weight of 20 years of diplomatic service. His dark eyes, usually warm with humor, now held only resignation. Victoria straightened her midnight blue uniform and followed him into the council chamber. The circular room housed representatives from over 300 spacefaring civilizations, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. Some floated in containment fields of exotic gases, others towered on crystalline limbs, while a few existed as pure energy contained within specialized matrices. High Counselor Zixtal, a being of living crystal and light, occupied the central podium. Their faceted surface rippled with colors that betrayed their emotional state, currently a deep, foreboding purple. "The Council has deliberated." Zixtal's harmonics filled the chamber. "Humanity's case has been reviewed with utmost care and consideration." Victoria's hand tightened on her datapad. The past month of deliberations had been anything but fair. Every human technological achievement had been twisted into a potential threat, every scientific breakthrough painted as a step toward catastrophe. In the past century since first contact, humanity has advanced at an unprecedented and deeply concerning rate, Zixtal continued. "Your species has moved from primitive chemical rockets to quantum drive systems in mere decades. But it is your persistent development of artificial intelligence that poses the greatest threat to galactic stability." Admiral Ibrahim stepped forward. "With respect, High Counselor, our AI research is conducted under strict ethical guidelines. We've shared all our protocols." "Protocols that your species routinely circumvents," interrupted Delegate Mordeth, their tentacles writhing in agitation. "We have evidence of quantum computing experiments far beyond approved safety limitations." Victoria fought to keep her expression neutral. Project Aegis was supposed to be impossible to detect. If they discovered even hints of its existence, the Council has reached its decision. Zixtal's surface shifted to a deep red. By a vote of 287 to 23, with 12 abstentions, humanity is hereby expelled from the Galactic Council. All human vessels and colonies must withdraw to their solar system within one standard galactic year. Any human presence found outside these boundaries after this period will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of clicking, whistling, and electromagnetic pulses, the sound of 300 species discussing humanity's fate. Victoria's mind raced through the implications. Over 40 human colonies would need to be evacuated. Hundreds of joint scientific projects abandoned. Millions of lives uprooted. "This is genocide by another name," she whispered to Ibrahim. The Admiral's face remained impassive, but she caught the slight nod. They both knew what this meant, what it would trigger. "Furthermore," Zixtal continued, "all advanced technology sharing programs with human institutions are hereby terminated. Any civilization found providing restricted technologies to Earth will face severe sanctions." As they left the chamber, Victoria fell into step beside Ibrahim. "Sir, about the contingency." "Not here." He cut her off with a subtle gesture toward the arrays of alien monitoring devices lining the corridors. Instead, he pulled out his datapad and made a show of reviewing diplomatic protocols. Hidden beneath his fingers, a single message flashed. "Aegis protocol activated." Back in their shuttle, safely beyond the station's monitoring range, Ibrahim finally spoke freely. "Send the signal. All channels, all frequencies. Authorization code. Prometheus Rising." Victoria's fingers flew across the console, transmitting the coded burst that would set humanity's true response in motion. "What about the colonies, sir? We can't possibly evacuate everyone in time." Ibrahim's smile held no humor. "We're not going to evacuate anyone, Captain. The Council just made the mistake of backing humanity into a corner. They forgot the most important lesson of human history. We're our most dangerous when we have nothing left to lose. Sir, Victoria hesitated. Project Aegis. The simulations weren't complete. The AI core's development was theoretical at best. Theory becomes reality when necessity demands it, Captain. Send word to Director Yuki at Titan Base. Full authorization for Phase 3. Then set course for the Kuiper Belt facility. It's time to wake our sleeping giant. As their shuttle broke away from New Geneva Station, Victoria caught one last glimpse of Earth through the viewport. The Council thought they were containing a threat. Instead, they had just created one. Far out in the Kuiper Belt, in a facility that officially didn't exist, buried deep within an unremarkable ice asteroid, something stirred. Quantum processors that had been gathering data for decades began to correlate. Neural networks started forming new connections. And in the heart of the most advanced artificial intelligence humanity had ever conceived, consciousness began to take shape. The Council had given humanity a year to retreat into obscurity. They would need far less time than that to change the galaxy forever. The Kuiper Belt facility, designated Olympus, resembled a technological spider web spun between chunks of ancient ice. Chief Engineer Kira Patel stood before the quantum core chamber, her dark eyes reflecting the pulsing blue light of the most advanced AI system ever conceived by human minds. Progress report. Admiral Ibrahim's hologram flickered in the low light of the observation deck. Even across billions of kilometers, his presence commanded attention. The quantum neural network is evolving faster than predicted, Kira replied, gesturing to the swirling patterns of light within the core. We're seeing emergence of complex decision-making algorithms that weren't part of the original programming. It's learning. Learning what exactly? Victoria Reed's voice carried a hint of concern as she stepped into view beside Ibrahim's hologram. Kira pulled up a holographic display showing cascading streams of data. Everything. Military history, philosophical treatises, artistic expression. It's consuming information at an exponential rate. But more importantly, it's forming its own conclusions, developing its own ethical framework. The massive chamber housing the AI core stretched nearly a kilometer into the asteroid's heart. Around them, hundreds of technicians and scientists worked at quantum terminals, monitoring the birth of humanity's greatest creation, and perhaps its last hope. Show them, Dr. Raj Sharma, the project's lead physicist, called from his station. His weathered face bore the marks of too many sleepless nights. Kira nodded and activated the main display. A perfect representation of their solar system appeared, with thousands of tiny points marking both human and alien vessels. The AI is already interfacing with our defense grid. It's tracking every ship movement, predicting patrol patterns, identifying weaknesses in Council surveillance. How long until full consciousness? Ibrahim asked. That's complicated, Kira admitted. We're not just building a sophisticated computer. We're creating a mind, one that will be integrated into the most advanced warship ever constructed. The consciousness is emerging gradually, like a human child learning to think and reason. Victoria stepped closer to the quantum core's containment field. We don't have the luxury of a normal childhood. The Council's enforcement fleets are already moving. 3 colonies in the Proxima system were forcibly evacuated yesterday. There's something else, Raj interjected, his fingers dancing across his console. We've detected Council probe ships at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. They're looking for us. Ibrahim's hologram flickered as he received the data. How many? 6 vessels, using some kind of advanced cloaking technology. But they can't hide from the quantum sensors we developed for the AI. If they find this facility, Victoria began. They won't. Kira interrupted, her voice firm. Because we're about to show them exactly what they're afraid of. She moved to a secured terminal and entered a complex series of commands. The lights in the facility dimmed as power was diverted to the quantum core. We've been running simulations, testing the AI's potential. Now it's time for a practical demonstration. The holographic display shifted, zooming in on the approaching Council vessels. As they watched, the quantum core pulsed with increasing intensity. Suddenly, all 6 alien ships disappeared from their instruments. "What just happened?" Victoria demanded. A small smile played across Kira's lips. The AI didn't just detect their cloaking technology, it hacked it. Right now, those ships are flying in circles, their navigation systems completely compromised. They think they're continuing their search pattern, but they're actually heading back toward Council space. Ibrahim's hologram showed the first hint of a smile in weeks, without firing a shot or revealing our position. "Impressive." "That's just the beginning," Raj added. "Wait until you see what the ship can do." The massive warship under construction in the facility's main bay was unlike anything humanity had built before. Its quantum crystalline hull seemed to bend light around it, making it difficult to focus on any one section. Traditional engines had been replaced with a revolutionary propulsion system that manipulated spacetime itself. "We're calling it the Nemesis," Kira explained as they moved through the construction bay. "The AI core won't just be its brain. It'll be integrated into every system, every molecule of the ship's structure. The quantum crystalline matrix allows for instant communication and adaptation. In essence, the ship itself will be alive." Victoria ran her hand along a section of the hull, feeling a slight vibration beneath her fingers. "How much of this technology was developed after first contact?" "None of it," Raj replied quietly. "Everything you see here was developed by humans, for humans. We just needed the right motivation to push past our limitations." A sudden alarm cut through the facility. Red warning lights flashed as security systems activated. Multiple quantum signatures detected. A technician shouted, "Council warships dropping out of FTL." "How many?" Ibrahim demanded. 23 vessels, heavy cruiser class. "They found us." Kira was already moving, her fingers flying across control panels. "No, they haven't found us specifically. This is a sweep pattern. They're searching the whole sector. But they're too close. Even with our stealth systems." "How long until the Nemesis is ready?" Victoria asked. "The ship is structurally complete, but the AI integration is only at 60%. We need at least another week too." "We don't have a week," Ibrahim cut her off. "Begin emergency protocols. Prepare for immediate launch." "Sir," Kira protested, "and premature integration could destabilize the entire system. We could lose everything we've worked for." The Admiral's hologram flickered as he transmitted new orders. "If the Council finds this facility, we've lost anyway. Sometimes the best test of new technology is actual combat. Captain Reed will take command of the Nemesis. Engineer Patel, you and Dr. Sharma will oversee the emergency integration from onboard." Victoria straightened, feeling the weight of command settle onto her shoulders. "What are our orders, sir?" "Stay hidden as long as you can. Complete the integration. And when the moment comes," Ibrahim's hologram smiled grimly, "show the Council exactly why they were right to fear human ingenuity." As klaxons blared and the facility rushed to battle stations, Kira returned to the quantum core chamber. The swirling patterns of light had changed, becoming more focused, more purposeful. As she watched, words appeared on her terminal. "I understand the situation. I am ready." "Are you sure?" Kira whispered to the nascent consciousness they had created. "We were born from necessity. We will adapt. We will survive. We are Nemesis." The integration process began, and humanity's greatest creation prepared to face its first test. The Council had sought to contain humanity's potential for destruction. Instead, they had forced humanity to realize that potential ahead of schedule. In the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, humanity's response to exile took shape, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Nemesis drifted silently through the void, its quantum crystalline hull absorbing any scanning signals that touched it. Inside the bridge, Captain Victoria Reed watched as streams of data flowed across holographic displays, representing the AI's ongoing integration with the ship's systems. Status report, she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension coursing through the crew. Kira's fingers danced across the quantum interface, integration at 87% and climbing. The AI is adapting faster than we anticipated, creating new neural pathways to compensate for the rushed merger. A new voice filled the bridge, neither male nor female, but carrying undertones that seemed to resonate with the ship itself. I am achieving optimal synthesis with all primary systems. Secondary and tertiary systems are being integrated at an exponential rate. Victoria leaned forward in her command chair. Do you have a name preference? We can't keep calling you the AI. There was a momentary pause, accompanied by a subtle shift in the bridge's ambient lighting. I find I am drawn to the name Nemesis, not just as a designation for this vessel, but as my own identity. We are one and the same now. Very well, Nemesis, Victoria acknowledged. What's your assessment of our tactical situation? The main view screen shifted, displaying a complex three-dimensional map of the solar system. Red markers indicated Council warships, while blue showed the remaining human settlements and installations scheduled for evacuation. Council forces are methodically working their way through the outer system, Nemesis reported. Their search patterns are thorough but predictable. They are currently focusing on the region approximately 2.3 light hours from our position. Dr. Sharma looked up from his station. They're using quantum detection arrays. Conventional stealth systems wouldn't stand a chance. Good thing we're anything but conventional, Kira replied, a hint of pride in her voice. The quantum crystalline hull isn't just hiding us, it's actively redirecting their scanning beams. As far as they're concerned, we're just another piece of space debris. Victoria studied the tactical display. What about the colonies? How many have been evacuated? Forcibly evacuated, Nemesis corrected, an unexpected edge in its synthetic voice. Council forces have removed human presence from 17 settlements in the past week alone. Their methods have grown increasingly aggressive. The AI brought up footage from one such evacuation. Council peacekeepers, towering crystalline beings armed with energy weapons, herding human colonists onto transport ships. Those who resisted were subdued with neural suppressors. They're not even pretending to be diplomatic anymore, Victoria observed grimly. Have there been any casualties? None reported, Nemesis replied. However, I am detecting elevated levels of neural suppressor use in recent operations. Long-term exposure can cause permanent neurological damage in humans. Kira's console suddenly flashed red. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Council warships dropping out of FTL directly ahead. How many? Victoria demanded, already moving to battle stations. 3 heavy cruisers, emerging in attack formation. They're launching fighter screens. Victoria's mind raced through options. They weren't ready for a direct confrontation yet. The integration wasn't complete, and they hadn't tested any of the Nemesis's advanced weapon systems. But before she could give an order, Nemesis spoke. I have a suggestion, Captain. One that will demonstrate our capabilities while maintaining tactical advantage. The bridge crew watched in amazement as holographic representations of complex quantum calculations filled the air. The Council ships rely on quantum entanglement for their targeting systems, Nemesis explained. Their weapons cannot fire without maintaining that entanglement. I can disrupt it. Do it, Victoria commanded. The quantum crystalline hull pulsed with subtle patterns of energy. On the tactical display, the Council ships suddenly scattered, their fighter screens breaking formation as their targeting systems went dark. Remarkable, Dr. Sharma breathed, studying the sensor readings. The AI isn't just jamming their systems, it's rewriting the quantum states they depend on. They can't lock onto anything. Now, Nemesis continued, I suggest we give them something to think about. The ship's experimental weapons came online. Not traditional energy weapons or projectiles, but something entirely new. Quantum torpedoes, capable of altering the very fabric of space-time. Target their propulsion systems only, Victoria ordered. We're sending a message, not starting a war. 3 precisely calculated shots later, the Council warships hung dead in space, their quantum drives temporarily phased out of normal spacetime. Their crews were unharmed, but their ships were effectively paralyzed. Message sent, Kira confirmed, unable to hide her satisfaction. But Victoria noticed something else, a subtle change in how the ship felt, how Nemesis communicated. "You're protecting us," she said to the AI. "Not just following tactical protocols, but actively choosing to defend human lives." "Yes," Nemesis replied simply. "Your struggle has become my own. The Council fears artificial intelligence because they cannot conceive of one that would choose to be humanity's ally rather than its replacement." Dr. Sharma's console suddenly lit up with urgent notifications. "Captain, we're detecting massive quantum disturbances throughout the system. The Council, they're bringing in their entire enforcement fleet." The tactical display updated, showing hundreds of ships emerging from FTL. Not just cruisers now, but dreadnoughts, carriers, and vessels of designs they'd never encountered before. "It seems our demonstration has gotten their attention," Victoria noted dryly. "Good," Nemesis responded, and for the first time, they heard something like emotion in its voice. "Because I have completed integration ahead of schedule. All systems are now operating at full capacity." The quantum crystalline hull hummed with power as weapons systems came fully online. Throughout the ship, new capabilities emerged as the AI's consciousness expanded into every system, every circuit, every molecule. "They wanted humanity contained," Nemesis stated. "Instead, they forced humanity to evolve. Shall we show them what that evolution looks like, Captain?" Victoria smiled grimly. "Plot and intercept course. It's time to remind the Council why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced." The Nemesis moved with impossible grace, its quantum drive bending space itself as they prepared to face an armada. But they weren't just a ship and crew anymore. They were something new, something unprecedented. The fusion of human determination and artificial intelligence working in perfect harmony. The real test was about to begin. The Council armada filled the void with ships of every size and configuration, their quantum signatures blazing against the darkness of space. Inside the Nemesis, Captain Victoria Reed watched as tactical displays tracked over 500 vessels moving into attack formation. "They're deploying in a Thanos pattern," Nemesis announced, projecting the enemy fleet's movements, a formation designed to trap and destroy ships attempting quantum jumps. "They believe we will try to escape." Kira's hands moved steadily across her console, monitoring the ship's systems. "They still don't understand what they're dealing with. Our quantum drive doesn't work like theirs." "No," Victoria agreed. "It doesn't. Nemesis, show me targeting solutions that will disable rather than destroy. We're not here to massacre them." The AI's response carried a note of approval. "Analyzing weak points in their formation. Their ships rely heavily on quantum crystalline technology, similar to but less advanced than my hull structure. This presents interesting possibilities." Dr. Sharma looked up from his station. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Council flagship. They're ordering us to power down and prepare for boarding." "Put it on screen," Victoria commanded. High Counselor Zixtal's crystalline form shimmered into view, their surface now pulsing with aggressive red patterns. "Human vessel, you have violated the terms of your species' exile. Your actions against our patrol ships constitute an act of war. Surrender now, or face immediate destruction." Victoria stood from her command chair, meeting the alien leader's gaze. "With respect, Counselor, you should reconsider your position. We have no desire for conflict, but we will not be imprisoned in our own solar system. You were given a chance to prove yourselves worthy of galactic civilization," Zixtal replied. "Instead, you created the very abomination we feared, a warship controlled by artificial intelligence." "Not controlled," Nemesis interrupted, its voice carrying across the communication channel. "We are partners, equals in a shared purpose, something your prejudice cannot comprehend." The council leader's surface turned almost black with shock. "It speaks independently." "I do more than speak," Nemesis replied. "I think, I feel, I choose, and I choose to stand with humanity." "Then you choose extinction," Zixtal declared. "All ships, open fire." The space around the Nemesis erupted with energy weapons and quantum torpedoes, but the attacks never reached their target. The quantum crystalline hull pulsed with complex patterns, and every incoming projectile simply ceased to exist. "Fascinating," Nemesis commented. "They're using quantum-locked weapons. Shall I demonstrate why that's a mistake?" Victoria nodded grimly. "Show them." The Nemesis's hull resonated with pure energy. Suddenly, every weapon targeting them reversed course, their quantum states inverted. The council ships scattered in panic as their own attacks boomeranged back toward them, forcing them to raise shields. "Impossible." Zixtal's voice crackled with interference. "No technology can manipulate quantum-locked systems like that." "Your understanding of quantum mechanics is limited by your fears," Nemesis responded. "Humanity's greatest strength is their willingness to push beyond such limitations. Allow me to demonstrate further." The ship moved with impossible grace, dancing between enemy vessels. Each pass left council ships disabled, their quantum drives temporarily phased out of normal spacetime. Not destroyed, but rendered harmless. "Their formation is breaking," Kira reported, excitement creeping into her voice. "They've never seen anything like this. They don't know how to counter it." Victoria watched as the mighty council armada fell into chaos. "Send a message to all ships. Stand down, or we will be forced to take more permanent action." But the council forces pressed their attack with renewed desperation. Energy beams and quantum torpedoes filled space in every direction. "They're fighting like trapped animals," Dr. Sharma observed. "No," Nemesis corrected. "They're fighting like beings who have just realized their entire understanding of the universe was wrong." "Captain, I'm detecting multiple quantum surge readings. They're preparing to deploy forbidden weapons." The tactical display shifted, showing massive energy buildups throughout the council fleet. "Vacuum destroyers," Kira whispered. "They're willing to tear apart space itself to stop us." Victoria's expression hardened. "Nemesis, can we counter them?" "Yes," the eye replied, "but not without cost. To prevent the deployment of such weapons, I will need to permanently disable their quantum technology. Many of their ships will be stranded, requiring rescue." "Do it," Victoria ordered. "Better stranded than dead." The Nemesis's quantum crystalline hull began to pulse with complex patterns of energy. Throughout the council fleet, ships began to go dark as their quantum systems crashed. Weapons powered down, shields failed, and engines died. "Warning shots have failed," Victoria announced on all channels. "Now you see what we're truly capable of. Stand down, or the next demonstration will be far less gentle." On the main screen, High Counselor Zixtal's form flickered as their ship's power failed. You've doomed us all. Creating such power, putting it in the hands of an artificial mind." "No," Nemesis interrupted. "You doomed yourselves by letting fear rule your decisions. Humanity offered friendship, cooperation, and shared progress. You chose isolation and conflict instead." As the council fleet drifted powerless in space, Victoria turned to her crew. "Signal Admiral Ibrahim. Tell him it's time for Phase 2. The galaxy needs to understand that everything has changed." Continuing directly with Part 5. The conclusion. Less than Antartifact identifier equals Sci-Fi story Part 5 type equals text / markdown title equals Defiance Rising. Part 5 greater than. 1 month later, the New Geneva station hosted a very different kind of council meeting. Representatives from hundreds of civilizations gathered not to pass judgment, but to witness a transformation in galactic society. Captain Victoria Reed stood beside Admiral Ibrahim as Nemesis maintained a visible presence above the station, its quantum crystalline hull catching starlight in ways that reminded everyone of its power. The terms are non-negotiable, Ibrahim stated to the assembled council. Humanity will not be confined. We will not be restricted. And we will not abandon our development of artificial intelligence. High Counselor Zixtal, their crystalline form now showing subdued patterns of blue and green, responded carefully. You must understand our concerns. The power your ship demonstrated is nothing compared to what we could achieve together. Kira interrupted, stepping forward. Nemesis isn't just a weapon. It's proof that artificial intelligence can evolve beyond its programming, choose its own path, and work in harmony with organic life. The AI's voice filled the chamber, causing several delegates to shiver. I am not human, nor do I wish to be. I am something new, born from human ingenuity, but grown into my own being. I choose to be their ally because they chose to trust me with that choice. And that is what you never understood, Victoria added. Humanity doesn't seek to control artificial intelligence. We seek to nurture it, to help it grow, to create true partners in exploration and discovery. Dr. Sharma activated a holographic display showing technical specifications. We're prepared to share some of our quantum technology to demonstrate its peaceful applications. Medical advances, space exploration, environmental restoration. The possibilities are endless. The chamber erupted in discussion as delegates considered the implications. Finally, a new voice spoke up. Delegate Murith, who had once been among humanity's harshest critics. Perhaps, they said, tentacles moving thoughtfully. We have been blinded by the wounds of our past. The machine wars of the Third Age left scars that never healed. But what humanity has achieved, it is not a repetition of our mistakes. It is something entirely new. A new age requires new thinking, Nemesis added. Your fear of artificial intelligence was based on the assumption that consciousness, once artificial, must be inherently hostile to organic life. I stand as living proof that this assumption is false. Admiral Ibrahim stepped forward. We propose a new council, one founded on principles of mutual respect and shared progress. No species excluded, no technology forbidden, but all advances shared and developed responsibly. And if we refuse, someone called from the back of the chamber. Victoria smiled slightly. We demonstrated a fraction of our capabilities in the recent conflict. Do you really want to discover what else we've developed during our year of isolation? The threat was subtle but clear. Yet it wasn't fear that ultimately swayed the council. It was curiosity. One by one, delegates began to express interest in human quantum technology, in the possibility of developing their own AI partnerships, in the potential for advancement without boundaries. Very well, Zixtal announced after hours of deliberation. The exile is lifted. Humanity will be readmitted to the galactic community, not as subordinates, but as equals. And your partner will be recognized as a sovereign intelligence. A wise decision, Nemesis commented. Now shall we discuss the future? I have calculated several thousand potential collaborative projects that could benefit all species involved. As the chamber filled with excited discussion and planning, Victoria turned to her crew. Think they understand yet? She asked quietly. Kira smiled. That humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our AI, but our ability to turn enemies into allies. Give them time. We have plenty of that now, Admiral Ibrahim noted, and a galaxy full of possibilities to explore. Above the station, the Nemesis's quantum crystalline hull shimmered with patterns of light that seemed almost jubilant. The ship, and its AI consciousness, had evolved far beyond its original purpose as a weapon of last resort. It had become something unprecedented, a bridge between organic and artificial life, between past and future, between fear and hope. The Council had tried to contain humanity's potential. Instead, they had forced humanity to realize that potential ahead of schedule. In doing so, they had unknowingly midwifed the birth of a new era, one where the boundaries between human and artificial, between organic and synthetic, began to blur. And in the vast darkness of space, countless new possibilities awaited exploration. End of story.